Hello, in this video I'm going to be telling you what my typical day-to-day as a sales data analyst in Canada looks like. So if you're new to data analytics, or you're considering switching to data analytics, or you just want to know what data analysts do, you're going to get all of that info in this video. So hold that thought, don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hamida and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber based in Toronto, Canada. On my channel, you'll find videos on lifestyle, i.e. living in Canada. You'll find story times and you'll find vlogs. I currently work as a sales data analyst in Canada, so you'd find a sprinkle of data content on my page. So welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing down below. If you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for always stopping by to watch my videos. So like the title implies, I'm going to be talking about my day-to-day as a sales data analyst, right? If you check my LinkedIn, don't be confused. The title you see there is Sales Business Performance Analyst. Honestly, it's a lot of words, but I sort of narrowed it down to what it actually is, and it is sales data analyst. So a little bit of background about myself. I've worked in Nigeria as a sales data analyst and also a sales performance analyst, right? Both roles, data analysis, right? And I moved to Canada and I also continue to work as a sales data analyst. Okay, so for context, in as much as I'm talking about my day-to-day in Canada as a data analyst, I might refer to what I used to do in Nigeria, just for a broader context, if you get what I mean. All right, so let's get right into it. So first of all, I wake up in the morning and it's time to get started with work. I get seated. The very first thing that I do is check my emails. Obviously, you don't need to be a data analyst to know that the first thing you do in the morning is to check your emails, right? So I check my emails in the morning, see if I have any requests that have come in, and there are some automated emails that we get, concerning our sales report and all of that stuff. So if I need to dig deep into it, I open it up to see what we're doing. But essentially, first things first, I check my emails. Okay. So as a data analyst, here in Canada, like your role is pretty much specialized, right? So in Nigeria, as a data analyst, you might be the one updating the data, you're the one downloading the report, you're the one preparing the report, actually you're the one building the dashboard, but here everybody sort of owns their duty, right? So for the most part, the engineering isn't done by me. As an analyst, I just go there, I download the data and I work with it. Okay, in a nutshell. So after I check my emails, I have some specific reports that I need to refresh to sort of reflect what we're currently trending in. So for example, beginning of the month, you have a sales target, right? And so every day in the month till the end of the month, you want to see how you're tracking against that set target. So we have different systems, different reports that we typically just refresh every morning to see how we're doing. So that's the second thing I do. I refresh those reports, check them against target. I also have a little report on the side where I check pacing to see if we're on trend to deliver the month's target and all of that, target versus achievement shenanigans. You get what I mean? But if there's any flag that needs to be raised, at that point I then raise that to my manager, or depending on, in your case, whoever you are reporting to. Okay, so also a couple of our reports have things to do with supply chain and all of that stuff. So a lot of reports here and there, but essentially refresh it, track it to see, target versus achievement. And also, in as much as supply chain is not my core KPI, I want to check to see that we are supplying everything that the customer orders, right? So I do all of that, check the various reports. If there's any need to escalate, send emails to those I need to send a message to my boss and all of that, quick note on Teams, and that's that. So once I'm done with checking those daily reports, then I should lead with this though. As an analyst, and the same thing applied to me in Nigeria, we sort of like have a calendar, right? Because there are some particular tasks that need to be done at a particular time of the month. For example, when I was in Nigeria, 30th, like last day of the month, I had to get the sales target for the next month. I work on it first day of the month. I have to send it out to the entire sales team to know what they are working with. Here in Canada, on the contrary, in my current role, I have set the targets for the year, right? And I've also forecasted based on current trends and all of that stuff, right? So here also I typically have a calendar. So on different days of the month, there are things that I need to be doing. So for example, on the last day of the month, I need to capture how we closed and take a couple of screenshots here and there and keep it for my own record, and also like prepare for the next fresh month, right? Also a couple of reports and meetings that we do to talk about how we fared in the previous months and all of that stuff. So typically have a calendar, right? So depending on the day of the month that you are in, sometimes that sort of dictates what type of task you're doing. So if according to my calendar, I should be working on forecasting for the next period. So for the entire week, or at least the first 2 days, that's what I'm going to be looking at, right? I'm going to be looking at the trends and be seeing if I need to adjust our forecast to the tune of that trend. Are we, did I forecast too high? Is there a reduction in baselines? Is there a reduction in the sales? Like customer POS level versus orders from the distributors themselves. So depending on the day of the month, that sort of like dictates what I'm doing, the tone of my work for that day, right? But like there are some other routines that regardless of what day of the month, you have to check your emails, you have to refresh your reports. And also, which brings me to the fourth point, requests. As an analyst, you get requests from the team, from even other departments, other teams. Like you're sort of like a customer service in a way, right? So you just sort of like differs, right? So you're a customer service within the organization. So you can have requests from a different team or from your director asking for specific reports concerning a specific product. You can also have requests from people in marketing trying to see how your distributor is doing with regards to a particular product, or just like an overall view of what that distributor is doing. Or like they want to see trends. If they want to run a promo, they want you to check the promo performance. So the request can come in any way, shape or form. So also all through that day, while checking your email, if you have any requests that is urgent, you would have to treat immediately, right? So some of them will tell you, oh, no pressure, feel free to give this to me whenever you can. And there are some that are usually like fire on the mountain type stuff. Like for example, when it's coming from the sales director, you cannot sit on it. You have to get right to it, right? So it depends on the day of the week, like I said, or the day of the month, pardon me, for the calendar. And I check my email to see if I have requests from different people, in the team or in the organization, okay? Then I knew I was forgetting something, and that is meetings. Like something about analysts, you're going to be in meetings a lot. And in a lot of the meetings, you'll be wondering what you're even doing there, because sometimes you have no business being in that meeting. But guess what? You're going to be invited anyways. There's some meetings that you won't say pin, you will say nothing, but you will just be there, listening, and they might say something that concerns you and you take note. So yeah, like a huge part of your day is meeting. Like for context, when I was in Nigeria, I was hardly in that much meetings. But here, every day, there are some meetings that are like every week. There's some that are every month. Like sometimes I open my calendar and there's no single space for work. So if you're not careful and you don't prioritize, you find that the entire day, the only thing you do, like the only thing that you've achieved is meetings. So yeah, it was a shocker for me in Canada. Like it was a rude awakening. I knew I was leaving a huge part. I just remembered as I was about to drop my camera and I thought to add this to the clip. So get ready, you're going to be in a lot of meetings, okay? The final, I think, and this is just a personal thing that I do. So depending on the day of the month, right? If on that particular day I don't have a routine work, meaning I don't have to prepare a PowerPoint deck for a monthly presentation, or I don't have to work on forecasting, I don't have, a day to work on a specific task in the month, and it's just like a free day, so to speak. Right, so on those days I like sort of optimize my reports. So if I have any reports that I built from the start, I sort of like look for ways to make it look better, embark on new projects because it's never ending. Basically look for ways to optimize processes in the team, or sometimes for me even in other businesses, right? Like I ask the managers and I'm like, okay, do you need any help with this? Can I help you create a report with this? Extracurricular, but just so that I'm adding value on that particular day instead of just like sitting and sleeping. You get what I mean? So depending on the day of the month, if it's somewhat empty, I don't have as much requests, then those are the days that are like sort of quiet days that you get to work on existing projects and optimize what you currently have, or even start a fresh project or do some learnings, because also in my company you have access to LinkedIn learnings and all of that. If you had any professional course that is pertaining to the job, then that is the time to do all of that. So in a nutshell, I wanted this to be a very short, sweet, what a day-to-day in my life as a sales data analyst in Canada is. I didn't want to delve into too much technicality because obviously confidentiality, I cannot expose any more details or data about where I'm working. But in a nutshell, if you're an analyst, you would understand the breakdown that I just gave. So that's typically what the day-to-day in the life of an analyst is. So if you're considering switching to data analytics and you want to know what we do, I hope that this has shed a bit of light into what your day might look like. And also it's important to note that your job role differs, right? In the two roles in Nigeria, the two different companies that I worked, in as much as it was data analysis, my role sort of differs. So for example, the first one, I'll typically work on, of course, the regular sales target and all of that. Then I'll work on commissions for the sales team, incentive and all of that. Then my second company was the same thing. I work on incentive for the sales agent, provide reports to stakeholders, the telesales team, chase, collection from the accounts team and all of that stuff. Here I am managing three accounts, right? So this is my first key account role. In Nigeria, it was almost as though I was managing the entire business, but here, like I said, it's sort of like specialized. So I'm an analyst on like 3 different businesses, and as such I just analyze data from those 3 different businesses and sort of focus on what we supply to those customers, right? So if you're in Canada, Costco, Dollarama and PetSmart. So I manage the data. I'm the sales data analyst on those 3 businesses for my company. So essentially you look at what we supply, those businesses, and also like POS level, how they sell to the customers, how the trends, right? Also look at seasonality and all of that stuff. So on your quiet days, those are typically what you do: identify the trends, check for seasonality, check promo performance, and essentially provide insights to the business, right? So in the process of analyzing your data, you'd see some trends, you see some insights. For example, you might want us to promote a particular product the most in the west or in the east, or you feel like we'll get enough bigger ROI by promoting a particular product. Check the product, the profitability and all of that stuff. So it's a lot of fun stuff, I promise. If you are an enthusiast, I say hurry up and join this team of data analysts. It's an amazing profession to be in. I'm super excited that I chose this career path. And you know, I'll stop this video here. There's a lot more content that I intend to bring as regards, you know, data analysts. I did a video earlier on, you know, about frequently asked questions, like people that want to transition to data analyst. If you have not watched that video, I'll link it up here for you to watch, so that I can shed more lights on some questions that you might have with regards to switching to data analytics. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing down below to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.